Ever notice how the worse your day is, the easier your money slips through your fingers? You slam the laptop shut after a brutal meeting, and suddenly that "Buy Now" button looks like salvation. Or maybe it's 2 in the morning, you're still replaying an argument in your head, and somehow your Amazon cart fills itself with things you didn't even know you wanted: candles, sneakers, a juicer you'll never use. Here's the punchline. Sadness doesn't just bruise your heart, it empties your wallet. We like to call it retail therapy. I call it a dopamine scam. You're not really buying the shoes, you're renting a feeling, and the lease expires faster than you can track shipping. I've been there. I've watched people hustle like crazy to earn money during the day, only to bleed it out at night because they were trying to patch emotional wounds with credit card swipes. And the cruel twist? The more you spend to soothe the sadness, the more powerless you feel the morning after. Now you've got the same pain plus a smaller bank account. But here's the truth. No one bothered to teach us in school. Money is emotional before it's ever mathematical. Control your emotions, and you control your wallet. Lose control of your emotions, and your wallet becomes an open wound. So let's dig into why emotions hijack our money, and how taking back control begins with the mind, not the paycheck. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's 32, lives in Chicago, and just came out of a breakup that felt like someone pulled the floor out from under her. You know the kind. The silence in the apartment is louder than any fight you ever had. At first, she tried to cope the old-fashioned way: ice cream, Netflix, scrolling through pictures she should have deleted months ago. But then, the shopping started. It was innocent in the beginning. A new dress, because I deserve it. A spa day, because I need it. Then came the gadgets, the headphones, the weekend getaway she couldn't really afford. Every purchase delivered a little spark, a tiny hit of happiness. For a moment, she felt lighter, less abandoned. But here's the kicker. When the packages arrived, so did the guilt. The dress looked great, but the sadness was still there. The spa was relaxing, but only until the credit card bill showed up. Her closet grew, her bank account shrank, and her sadness? It stayed exactly the same. I've watched this cycle more times than I can count, not just with Sarah, but with executives, students, even millionaires. Different incomes, same wound. Because money is never just about numbers, it's about feelings. And when you're hurting, your wallet becomes a kind of bandage. Trouble is, it's the cheapest bandage you'll ever buy, and the most expensive one you'll ever wear. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Psychologists call this retail therapy. Sounds harmless, even cute. But underneath, it's dopamine at work. Your brain's way of bribing you with short bursts of pleasure. Sadness lowers your baseline, so you reach for a hit. Food, alcohol, shopping. It's all the same chemical story with different price tags. Sarah's story isn't about bad budgeting. It's about emotions hijacking logic. She wasn't buying shoes. She was buying relief. She wasn't booking a spa day. She was buying silence from her own thoughts. And that's why this matters. Because if you don't understand the link between your emotions and your money, you'll forever confuse spending with healing. And let me tell you, those two have never been the same thing. So let's pause here and ask the real question. Why does this happen? Why does sadness make us worse with money? That's what we're going to dig into next. You know, Sarah's story isn't unusual. It's textbook human behavior dressed up in designer bags and Amazon Prime boxes. Let's break down why sadness and spending hold hands so tightly. First, retail therapy. Cute phrase, dangerous practice. What's really happening is dopamine, the brain's favorite little bribe. Dopamine doesn't care about your 401k or your student loans. It only cares about one thing. Give me something new. Give me something shiny. Every swipe of your card is a chemical trick, a promise of relief. And it works, until it doesn't. That rush fades faster than yesterday's news, and what's left? The same sadness, now carrying interest. But dopamine is just the surface layer. There's something deeper at play. When you're sad, your sense of self-worth takes a hit. You start whispering to yourself, "I'm not enough. I've been rejected. I'm failing at life." And when you feel small, you look for quick ways to feel bigger. That's why people buy self-esteem. The handbag isn't just leather, it's proof you still belong. The spa day isn't just a massage, it's a rented moment of worthiness. For a little while, your sadness is dressed up in silk and champagne. And here's the kicker. Research backs this up. In controlled experiments, people who were primed to feel sad literally paid more for the same product compared to those who weren't. Think about that. Sadness makes you worse at negotiation with yourself. Your emotions quietly move the decimal point, and you don't even notice. Now, let's add insult to injury. Consumer culture knows this. Entire industries profit off your bad day. Ads aren't just about products, they're about poking wounds. The soft glow of that perfume commercial. It's whispering, "You'll finally be loved." That car ad with the confident guy behind the wheel. It's screaming, "You're not enough until you own this." It's emotional exploitation at scale. And when you're sad, you're the perfect customer. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Wealth isn't just math. It's emotion management. Two people with the same paycheck can live entirely different financial lives, not because one studied compound interest and the other didn't, but because one learned how to sit with sadness without swiping, while the other kept buying their way out of it. If you control your feelings, you control your wallet. But if your feelings control you, then no matter how much money you make, you'll always be broke in spirit, and eventually in bank balance too. Now, let's zoom out. What does this mean for you? It means every dollar you spend is a reflection, not just of what you value, but of how you feel. That's why budgets fail. They treat money like numbers, when really, money is mood. The spreadsheet doesn't warn you about the breakup next month, or the bad day at work, or the loneliness that makes the Buy Now button look like salvation. Numbers can't save you from emotions, but understanding your emotions can save your numbers. So here's the philosophical shift. Stop seeing money as just math. See it as energy shaped by emotion. Your sadness, your joy, your fear, they all write checks long before you ever pull out your wallet. Learn to master that inner economy, and suddenly, external wealth makes a lot more sense. Because in the end, the dark side of this story isn't just that sadness makes us spend. It's that most people never notice the trap. They confuse shopping with healing, and in the process, they sell off pieces of their freedom, one receipt at a time. So the question is, how do we escape this invisible trap? Let me tell you something that might sting a little. Your spending isn't rational. It never was. You think you're logical, that you needed the new shoes, or that the upgraded phone was a smart investment. But strip away the justifications, and you'll find something simpler, almost embarrassingly human. Every purchase is emotional. We don't swipe cards for products, we swipe for feelings, relief, excitement, belonging, a sense of being alive, even if just for a moment. And the sooner you admit that, the sooner you stop losing the invisible war between your emotions and your wallet. The trap most people fall into is thinking money control means cutting up credit cards or downloading some shiny budgeting app. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. The real issue isn't the card in your hand, it's the storm inside your chest. If you don't deal with that sadness, that loneliness, that little voice whispering you're not enough, then no budget in the world can save you. Here's the new lens. True financial control is emotional resilience. It's the ability to sit with discomfort without immediately trying to buy your way out of it. That's the discipline most schools never taught us. They drilled algebra, but they never explained what to do when heartbreak meets a late-night Amazon sale. Think about it this way. Every purchase is a vote. Not for what you need, but for how you want to feel. That jacket isn't about warmth, it's about identity. That fancy dinner isn't about food, it's about connection, or sometimes distraction. Money isn't just economics. It's psychology, it's therapy, it's storytelling. And if you don't recognize that, you'll spend your whole life financing an illusion instead of funding your freedom. Here's the poetic shift. Money freedom isn't about budgeting harder. It's about feeling deeper without swiping your way out. It's learning how to let sadness pass without dressing it in new clothes. It's discovering that joy can be built in conversations, walks, books, and discipline, not just in glossy shopping bags. I know, it sounds almost un-American to say this. Our culture trains us to believe that the cure for any bad day can be bought, 2-day shipped, and delivered with a smiley logo on the box. But the truth? That cure doesn't cure anything, it just prolongs the disease. Real freedom is the opposite. It's looking at your emotions straight in the eye and saying, I see you, but you don't get to run my finances. That's the kind of inner strength that multiplies outward into wealth, stability, and yes, peace. So let's stop pretending the solution is tighter spreadsheets. The solution is deeper awareness. And once you've got that awareness, the question becomes, what do you do with it? How do you turn emotional resilience into practical financial strategy? That's where we go next. Here's the part where theory meets the kitchen table, where lofty ideas about psychology and money become something you can actually do tomorrow morning. Because let's be honest, wisdom without action is just a nice bedtime story. So let me give you 4 simple, almost deceptively simple shifts that can save you from your own emotions and save your bank account in the process. First, the pause rule. This is the easiest, cheapest, and most powerful trick I know. If you're about to buy something while your heart feels heavy, your ego feels bruised, or your boredom feels loud, stop. Just stop. And wait 24 hours. That's it. Don't delete the item from your cart. Don't beat yourself up. Just wait. You'll be shocked at how many urgent needs evaporate with a single night's sleep. The $200 jacket you were ready to sacrifice groceries for? Turns out, it was just sadness trying to cosplay as style. Second, emotional journaling instead of emotional spending. Sounds soft, I know, but think about it. When you're sad, what you really want is to be heard. by yourself. Instead of clicking buy now, take 10 minutes and pour the chaos onto paper. Write the truth, even if it's ugly. I feel lonely. I feel angry. I feel worthless. Then watch what happens. The urge to shop usually shrinks because you've already acknowledged the emotion instead of disguising it with a delivery package. Your journal won't charge you 20% APR, but your credit card will. Third, replace dopamine shopping with healthier dopamine. We're not robots. We all need hits of pleasure. The trick is to source it from places that don't destroy your net worth. Go for a walk. Call a friend who makes you laugh. Cook something that smells good. Paint, write, dance like an idiot in your living room. Do anything that tells your brain, yes, life still has color, without dragging your wallet through it. The goal isn't to live ascetically, it's to trade the destructive quick fixes for sustainable lifts. Fourth, automate savings. Because here's the truth. Emotions are messy, logic is clean. If your paycheck hits and your savings is set to auto-transfer 10%, 15%, 20% right out the gate, then even if sadness hijacks the steering wheel later, the car has already driven part of your money to safety. Automation protects you from your weaker moments. It's like having a sober friend drive you home when your emotions are drunk. Now, let me put flesh and bone on this with a story. A woman I once coached, let's call her Rebecca. She used to do what so many of us do, retail therapy after every heartbreak, bad day, or fight. Her closet looked like a boutique. Her credit card statements looked like a crime scene. She decided to try one small shift, the pause rule. Whenever she wanted to buy something in the middle of sadness, she wrote it down on a list and told herself, if I still want it in 24 hours, I'll come back. You know what happened? 8 times out of 10, she never went back. Combine that with journaling and she started saving thousands each year. Not because she made more money, but because she stopped bleeding from the emotional wounds in her wallet. More importantly, she told me this: I finally feel like money isn't my therapist anymore. It's just my tool. And that's the point. When you master this, money stops being the bandage you slap on a bad day and starts being the resource you use to build a better life. That shift from emotional hostage to intentional steward is what unlocks not just savings, but freedom. So let me leave you with this. Don't aim to silence your emotions. Aim to outsmart them. Your sadness deserves attention, not shopping carts. And your future self deserves a bank account that's whole, not hollow. Now, let's pull the threads together. We don't overspend because we're weak. We overspend because we're human. Because emotions are messy, and sadness whispers lies into our ear. It tells us a pair of shoes will make us whole, that a new gadget will mend a broken heart, and for a brief, flickering moment, it feels like it works. But the moment you see the trap, you can step out of it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Money doesn't heal sadness. It only hides it. A new dress can cover loneliness, but it can't cure it. A spa day can soothe your skin, but it won't touch your soul. The credit card bill always comes due, long after the dopamine hit is gone. Real wealth begins the day you stop buying relief and start building resilience. That shift is quiet. It doesn't get applause on Instagram, but it gives you something deeper than fleeting happiness. It gives you peace. And peace, my friend, is priceless. So let me turn the question back to you. What's the most expensive thing you ever bought when you were sad? Was it worth it? Did it fix the ache or just decorate it? I'd love to hear your story, because you're not alone in this. Every one of us has stood in that checkout line, hoping the swipe of a card would mend the cracks inside. And if you're ready to go deeper, beyond just the math of money, into the psychology, the hidden wiring between our emotions and our bank accounts, this is the place. This is The Bridge Within. Here we explore the truths schools never taught, the ones society conveniently forgot to mention. Because every video here is not about making you richer tomorrow. It's about making you freer for the rest of your life. So if that resonates, hit subscribe and start crossing the bridge within today.